Hello, Jen here, and I'm joining in today on this fantastic hop where we are celebrating Virginia from Confessions of a Paper Addict Cutfiles' second birthday at her shop. She has the most amazing cut files. They are really, really easy to use. They are really easy to cut out, and I just love them. So she gathered a group of us together to have a little birthday party. All the cut files that we're going to be using today have a celebratory feeling to them. So balloons and presents and that kind of thing. There's some really cute little animal balloon shapes and a fun little penguin and just some really, really cute stuff. So I've left all the details at the beginning of the video to the sale that is going to be starting as well. It's New Zealand time, so just watch that if you're in our hemisphere here in the northern hemisphere. From March 1st to March 31st, there's 30% off of a bunch of stuff in her shop. The link will also be down below, but you can go and pause the video right at the beginning if you want and just catch all of that info too. But definitely go and check it out and see all the cut files that she has. 30% off is a really good deal, and there's tons of fun. So after going through a few of them, I decided on the birthday balloons that I picked here. The one thing I really loved about this is that the letters are all separate, so you can cut them out individually, which means that you can play with the size of them, you can play with the orientation of them, and really just make them to fit around your layout however you need to. So I think that that's really fun. It makes it a lot more versatile than having to separate the letters if you wanted, or cut them apart, or do any of those things when it's time to actually cut them. I personally think it's a lot easier to weld letters together than it is to try to cut them all apart. So I really appreciate that these were already apart. And now when Virginia created the thumbnail for this sketch, she went with that beautiful kind of rainbow. And so I was really inspired by that as well, and decided to go ahead and do a little bit of a rainbow kind of splotchy technique here on my paper. So I'm not really following the rainbow necessarily, the whole kind of Roy G. Biv aspect of it. I just wanted to have all these really fun colors. And the papers that I'm going to be using, well, they're not actually papers, they're cards from a card pack that's a birthday themed card pack from Simple Stories, and it has most of these colors. It doesn't have any purples, but it has the yellows and kind of a teal and orange and that kind of stuff. So I think the kind of bright rainbow works really good. And then my mom's cake, the picture I'm using is from a couple of years ago celebrating my mom's birthday, and the cake has a lot of those kind of primary rainbow colors in it too. So it all fit together really nicely. Now my picture is a 5x7, so I started with these really beautiful splotches of color, and now I have to go and make them a little bit bigger just so that they actually peek out from behind the photo. And I also accidentally touched my brush in the green over on that right hand side of the paper. So once I realized I had done that, I kind of decided I was going to go ahead and cut that paper down anyways. So it is a little bit off center, and that's totally fine with me when it comes to mixed media. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to kind of have fun and experiment with the colors. And I love the way they all kind of blended together on that paper. That's just plain white cardstock from Walmart, actually. So it's not the thickest, it's pretty thin, but you can see how it really holds the watercolors quite nicely. And so after it dried, here is where I'm going to back it onto some black cardstock. I've already cut it down, and now it just looks a little bit more centered, and I got rid of that little green splotch that I didn't mean to have there. I used some of the black cardstock to matte my photo as well, just to really make sure that it stands out nicely from the background of all those colors. And the black really makes those colors pop. So it's nice to have that little frame of black around the picture. So I'm just going to stick that kind of in the center. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. The watercolors just kind of do their own thing, and that's the fun of it. And then to create my title, I'm going to go ahead and cut out these little banners from that Simple Stories collection. Okay, I just ran to double check what the name of that collection is, and it's the Snap brand. So I don't even know if Simple Stories does a Snap line anymore, but it's just called Birthday, and they're just really fun birthday themed little cards, different sizes. There's ephemera, there's stickers, the whole thing. So I've been using mine forever and ever. They just keep going. I use them in Project Life and on birthday layouts and stuff, even some things that aren't necessarily birthday layouts, because they have a lot of those nice primary colors. So yeah, it's that's the collection. I thought someone would probably ask me, so I just wanted to double check. So I've gone ahead and created my cut files here. I kind of saved you from watching the whole process because it does take a long time just to kind of get all of those little pieces backed, and then you're going to cut them all out. I cut out the centers of the letters. You don't have to do that kind of stuff with a cut file. That's kind of the beauty of it, right? You can tailor it to exactly what you're hoping to achieve, the kind of look that you're going for. But I also covered mine with the glossy, what's it called? Crystal effects. Sorry, not glossy accents. You could use glossy accents, but I used crystal effects, and they take a bit of time to dry. I have a really, really thin layer on mine, so the thicker you apply it, the longer it takes to dry. But even here, as I'm putting my little foam squares on the back of these, they're still not quite dry, so I can't push my foam squares down too hard. I'm just putting them lightly on the back so that I have my spacing and I can kind of figure everything out. And then I went back later and really pushed them down. But it takes a few hours, so I didn't go through the process of showing you all of that, but I used the cards from the Snap collection to back most of them, except the R, the A, and the Y. I really wanted to bring in some purple, a darker red, and that darker green, so I just used my own watercolors and painted a little swatch on some white cardstock, and then backed it with that, so that the colors match the watercolors I used in that kind of background. So that's definitely something you can do too. And I actually really like when I put the crystal effects over top, I did let the watercolors dry, maybe not 100%, but it was 99%. And so when it kind of re-liquefied with the crystal effects, it looks kind of cool. It granulated a little bit, and I just really like that effect. Anyways, I thought I would share that with you, that if you don't want it to have any kind of effect on your watercolors, definitely let them dry, maybe even overnight, so you know for sure they're really, really dry. And so I just backed them, cut them out, and then with the nozzle of the crystal effects, I just pushed it around until the whole thing was covered and just in a really thin layer. Again, if you squeeze it really hard, you can build up the thickness so that it's quite three-dimensional, or you can let it be a little bit thinner. It's pretty easy to use. Just remember not to let it dry out. So I always have a pin with me that I put in the nozzle so that it doesn't dry out as I'm using it. And it did take a good couple of hours before I was able to kind of touch them and stick them down onto the layout. And I got the best compliment from my daughter when she came and kind of walked by me and saw them and asked where I had bought them from, because she didn't think I had made them. She thought they were purchased, and I think it was surprising her that I was cutting the tails off of them. So that's kind of a cool compliment, that she thought that I had bought them in a store. So there's so many things you can do with these cut files. You can back them in so many ways. I actually saw someone do a project where they made cut files and backed them with balloons, actual latex balloons. So it had that more like rubbery balloon feel to it, but I love my shiny ones. And I did cut the tails off of them because they would have interfered. I thought maybe I would tuck them all behind and kind of have the word popping out from behind the picture, but because the picture is a little bit bigger, it felt like I was squishing too many things together. It just didn't look like it was natural. It didn't look like it should be there. So I cut the tails off of all except the B and the Y, so you still know that they're balloons, and I think it turned out so cute. And then I just finished it off with some hearts from the ephemera pack in that Snap collection, and I outlined them in black because I had a little bit of journaling in black, and I just kind of wanted to bring that into the layout a little bit. And then a splatter of my black mist and my gold mist, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please help us celebrate with Virginia her 2-year birthday, and hop along with all the links down below and check out her shop. And until next time, have fun with all those cut files. Happy scrapping. Bye.